Hi farm friends, this is Stacy and welcome to Haven Acres. Today I'm bringing you along as I do some work in this dream home, this dream farm that we've created. And I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I work through, as I am a bit delusional in what I can do and what I can handle. Am I the only one, or have you done this too? And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about this life that we've created. This is an awesome life, and it's actually everything that I've ever wanted and continue to want. What I'm saying is, when you go to set up your homestead, you have to think about, do you work outside of the home also? Jesse and I both used to work full-time jobs, and we had laying hens, we had meat birds, we had cows, we had gardens. We both worked an hour away from home each way. It was an hour, and somehow we managed to get it all done. We were younger. So first of all, think about where you are in life. Do you have children? Are they small? Are they older so they might be able to help? Are you working full-time, both of you? Or is one of you working full-time? Or are you both full-time farmers like we are? It makes a difference. And of course, how old you are. I'm not saying anything about people that are older in farming. There's a lot of people older than me that would kick my butt and run circles around me. I'm just saying, as you get older, it does get more difficult. So these are all things that you need to think about. Finances are also something that you need to think about, because you don't want to create something and then not be able to take care of it. I've been there. We have orchards that I haven't properly maintained. We have gardens over the years, oh my goodness, that I have not maintained, and I pretty much let them, just go by the wayside and get covered with weeds. I do it almost every year in this hoop house. My point being, you cannot do everything, but you don't want to get yourself into a situation that you're letting animals be neglected or anything like that. So really think about what you're doing. Am I the only one that's ever let their gardens or hoop houses completely just go? Tell me I'm not. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy this video, and just drop in the comments if you're a delusional homesteader or if I'm the only one. It has officially started. The greenhouse is filling up. I have echinacea planted, cauliflower. I've got a ton of flowers that I planted today. Different things for me, different things for this homestead. And hopefully I'll have enough that I can put a few seedlings in our little farm stand and help beautify the neighborhood. The greenhouse definitely is continuing on its messy course, but that's all right. It's messy because I've been working in it, and that brings me joy. I have some bells of Ireland that I need to cold stratify, so I'm just going to bring those inside the barn where it's dark and cold for a couple of weeks. Then I'll bring them out here into the greenhouse. We've got all of the onions and celery that I planted yesterday. Over here we've got, oh gosh, I don't even remember what I planted yesterday. Broccoli and cabbage and beets over here. Then today I found my chive seeds that I was missing. I found them, so I've got the chives planted. I've got chamomile, German chamomile. I have black chai, some La France carnations, copper red straw flowers, and what else? echinacea, and I've got to look. Goodness. Oh yeah, cauliflower. Very old cauliflower seeds. You may notice that I use a lot of old containers. Most of my little 6-pack or trays, the covers are really dingy or they're broken, but I reuse those disposable items for 2 to 3 years. I use them as long as I can, and most of what I have now is 3 years old. So don't fall into the trap of thinking you have to buy new pots or containers every year. That is simply not the truth. You can use garbage like the containers that lettuce come in. You can use milk jugs. You can use all kinds of things that you would normally throw away, and you can reuse your flats from previous years. What's it like working in the rain all day? It's a little damp. Were you a delusional homesteader when you set out to thin this finger out this weekend?
Delusional how? Like you thought I was going to get the whole thing done?
Delusional.
Delusional?
Yeah, did you think you were going to get the whole thing done this weekend?
No. It's going to be 4 more good days to get it down, not all cleaned up. Sure is a good thing you got a piece of equipment to clean this up.
Be a little tough without the skid steer, huh?
Yep.
That would be delusional to think you could get it done by yourself with no equipment.
Yeah, you probably have to just maybe do a little trimming on the side and would have left all this to just fall over whenever it does.
All right, we are on our way over to the blueberry field, which is the second little section of that field right there. You can see maybe the 4 rows. Those are all blueberry bushes. Today is a typical spring Maine day. There's blue sky, there's clouds, it's windy. So it's really nice when the sun shines, and then it's really cold when the clouds cover the sun. But it's a great day for working outside. And as we are closer to the blueberry field, you can see what I mean about needing some maintenance. The little blueberry bushes are doing really well. This is their 4th year, I think. However, there is a ton of this, I think it's wild blackberries, this thorny stuff that's popping up in between. I've got to get that out. And these old bales of hay that you see, that was supposed to be for the strawberry bed, but it never made it. So I'm going to take the old bales of hay and spread them around the blueberry bushes. I've brought a couple of pairs of clippers and a couple of pairs of gloves because I don't know which ones will work better. My goal is to get this whole section done today, at least trimmed up, and the hay around the bushes, we'll see. It's kind of chilly when the sun's not out. That did not take too long to get all of the briars cut. I just had to be careful because the briars are the same color as the blueberry bushes. So I just had to make sure that they actually had thorns coming out before I clipped them. So now I'm going to take some hay and put it in the rows. I do have to get some biotone for fruit bushes the next time I go out, which will hopefully be within the next couple of days, and then I will fertilize these. You can get an idea of what I'm attempting by looking at this one row that I have almost done. The only problem is the bales of hay, because they're mulch hay, they've been sitting out all winter long, they've gotten wet, they're actually frozen in the middle. So I'm having a hard time separating the hay. So where today is a nice warm day, I'm going to let them sit. But you can see what I've done so far. And I've trimmed all of the thorns and thistles from in between the blueberry bushes. We have lost a handful of bushes out of one particular kind. So I will look at my paperwork and see which kind it is. It may be that that particular kind is just not going to do well here, or it could be something else. But I will look and see, and eventually we will get some more bushes to replace those. In the meantime, I'm going to let the sun thaw out this hay. Then I will get that remaining hay. We'll do the first row at least. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the next 3 rows because that's all the mulch hay that we have. We had to run to the store, so while I was there, I got some Berrytone organic fertilizer. It says to use about a cup around each bush, and while I'm doing that today, I'm not going to water it, which you're supposed to. However, it is supposed to rain tomorrow. So I'm going to get this on tonight so the rain will water it in tomorrow, and then it says to do this again in 2 to 3 more weeks. So we'll see. This is the first time that I've ever actually fertilized them as it is. A few years ago, Jesse made these beautiful raised beds, terrace beds, for me to plant strawberries in. But of course, because I didn't take care of my chickens properly and they jumped the fence and they free range, they've pretty much dug up all the strawberry plants. But there are some survivors. We're not going to talk about my big strawberry bed, because I have to work on the house garden, or the small garden, or the cold crop garden, whatever I'm going to call it. I'm prepping this particular bed for carrots. Carrots like a very loose soil, and they don't like a lot of fertilizer. So our soil in this garden is kind of clay-ish. We've worked it for a few years, so it's looking better. However, this bed has sawdust that I had used as a cover for garlic last year. So this year, for our carrot bed, I am going to weed it as I'm doing now. I don't till, I just lift up the top portion and pull the weeds, and I'm going to mix the sawdust in to make nice loose soil. I have weeded the carrot bed. The soil is nice and light, and I'm ready to get some boards. I did want to show you, I had some garlic that clearly I missed last year when I pulled our garlic, and there's a spot there and a spot, 2 cloves of garlic up here that poked through, so I'm just going to leave them. Once you have your soil nice and loose and have as many rocks and sticks out of it as you care to take out, even out your bed, and then get a couple of boards, however long the rows of carrots are that you want to plant, and you're going to set the boards where you want to plant the carrots and then flip over the boards. So as you can see here, I've set the boards down in the very loose soil. Then I walked on them to compress the soil, which compressing wasn't my plan or wasn't the outcome that is necessary. What I am really trying to do is mark where I'm going to plant the carrots, because now we want to simply water that space before we put the seeds on. The next step is to water only the row that you want to plant the seeds in. And I'm just going to do this 1 row at a time because it's windy and it's going to dry out the soil. This is one of our favorite varieties from Baker Creek, and I have 2 packages plus a package of a different kind of carrot that Baker Creek sent me for free. So I'm excited to try those out this year as well. Look how teeny tiny those seeds are. After you surface sow the seeds, flip the boards back on top of them. If we have rain, I will just leave these alone over the next week. If we don't have rain, I will take the boards off and just mist with a fine mister. And in a week, I will take the boards off and see if I have any sprouts. If you decide that homesteading is for you, don't be delusional. You still have to homestead in the rain. And yeah, there are times that the rain comes for, 3 days on end. So you can't just wait until it stops raining to go feed the animals or do all the things you need to do. You just have to get outside and get wet. Don't be delusional. Chickens are great on the homestead, but look what they also do. They dig up your yard. It's not all Instagram. How do you like my wasp house? I guess it's considered a wasp nest. So far it seems to be working. We did have a lot of wasps in here. Doesn't seem to be as many now. Time to switch my bucket. Did you know that cilantro is actually a cold weather crop? So I am sowing it now when I am sowing my kale and peas and spinach and all of the other cold weather things. If you want to grow cilantro in the summer, you're going to have to create a condition where it does not get too hot. If you're going to be a homesteader or a farmer, you cannot let rain stop you. Especially if you have created a homestead that is really more than you can handle. So, no days off. Instead, what you have to do is come up with a list of indoor things to do or outdoor things to do, fair weather things to do, rainy day things to do. So, as today is raining, today is the day I start tackling this hoop house that really should have had things planted in it a month ago. But because I have created more than I can really handle as one person, there's nothing in here because the ducks were in here. So now I have to tidy things up because I need to get planting in here. It is raining and I'm not complaining because I'm actually one of those weirdos that really likes the rain. Rain makes the green look greener. So in places where you have grass growing, all of a sudden that grass just pops and it looks so much greener. And where you are doing landscaping, well, it still looks like dirt. But look how pretty our little garden looks. Now, to actually get to gardening. We have an entire video on building this greenhouse that I'm currently working in, and I'm sure I explained this in that video. However, some people don't realize all of the different things you need to do when you have a greenhouse or a hoop house. Some people, including myself, before I had them, I didn't realize all of the extra things that you need to do when you have structures. You look at other people that maybe have those structures and you think, oh gosh, my life would be so much easier if I had a greenhouse, or my life would be so much easier if I had a hoop house. Parts of your life may be easier, but hoop houses and greenhouses also bring their own extra work with them. You really have to kind of babysit them. You really have to be home and around because, or at least where we live in Maine, weather can change, like that. And so that does bring extra work. Today, for instance, it's overcast, it's rainy, which is great because we have solar openers on the vents in this greenhouse, and they have been secured shut for winter. So here I am up on a ladder at all of the vents, taking the security measures off. So that's just a Velcro strip and it closes tight the arm on the vent. This post is actually solar powered. So that is the part that tells the vent when to open and shut and gives it the ability to. We have 6 vents on either side, which means a total of 12 of these arms. And you have to do this on an overcast day when you know the solar feature is not trying to open the vent. So I can take the Velcro off today and the vents are naturally going to want to remain shut, but these take so long. You have to screw them in and it literally takes a long time, and it is a painful process on your shoulders. If we didn't have the solar vents in here, we would have to do this by hand every day, which would mean we would have to have some type of a pole and attach it to the vent and manually lift them up and manually take them down depending on the weather, the wind, heat, all that. So for us, the solar vents were a price that was reasonable when we were building this greenhouse. If you left the vents down, it would get far too hot in here and it would kill all of your seedlings. You have to know that even if you plant a very small garden, it's not just planting the garden. You have to water the garden, you have to weed the garden, and in most cases, 95% of the time, you also have to fence the garden. So fencing the garden means time and money. You might not think you need a fence, but if you or anyone nearby has dogs or chickens or cats, you'll need a fence. If you live out in the country like us and there's deer and bear, woodchucks, things like that, you'll need a fence. The funny thing about gardening, or I should say trying to raise the majority of your food, homesteading, any of those things, the funny thing is you don't ever think that you are creating something more than you can handle. Because independently, raising chicks, raising ducks, raising cows, raising pigs, having a garden, having a hoop house, independently, all of those things are actually fairly easy to do. The problem lies when it's all at the same time and you as one person or two people have created this space which is amazing, but then you have to actually maintain all of it. All right, well, I definitely have to get back to work because we took a break from another farm job that we were doing, but I have to get back to that hoop house and get it ready to plant in. So let me know. Are you delusional about the homestead you've already created, or are you delusional perhaps about your dream of having a homestead? Or am I the only delusional one? I mean, it could be true. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you the next time here at Haven Acres.